O gentle doves, O turtle doves, and all the birds that be, the lentils that in ashes lie, come and pick up for me. The good must be put in the dish, the bad you may eat if you wish. Why don't we try another? On the third day, when the parents and the stepchildren had set off, she went again to her mother's grave and said to the tree, little tree, shake over me, that silver and gold may come down and cover me. Then the bird cast down a dress, the like of which had never been seen, for splendour and brilliancy. In the early 90s, I was spending some time in Park City with Randy, Paxman. I don't like to ski myself, but I like to go where people do and look out at the snow and imagine a skier to add to my mental database of orphaned characters. Just waiting for the right project to adopt them. One time I was there, I laid eyes on a woman with a star makings the likes of which I haven't seen since Zsa Zsa. It wasn't just her looks, although she did have a face that were you to plaster it on a billboard on the 405, Californian traffic accidents would soon overtake heart disease as the #1 killer in the US. But there was something else about her. An ineffable je ne sais quoi that I just couldn't put my fingers on, though I longed to grasp. I immediately phoned Jackson, Dupuy, and told him what I had discovered, and he told me whatever I did, I couldn't leave there without signing her for the role. I didn't need telling twice. Like me, she didn't ski, but sat at the same table, eating the same breakfast of black coffee and 2 cigarettes for 5 days straight. And for 5 days straight, I helped myself to the seat opposite her and tried to convince her to let me place her in my next movie. But she didn't budge. Not from her seat, and not for my charms. Never one to take no for an answer, in business only, you understand. I persisted, insisted even. Her refusal was quick and complete each time, offering me no explanation. I never even learnt whether or not she was an actress. Not until years later, anyway, when being driven down the 405 one day, I looked up and saw the woman from Park City looking back down at me. It was a billboard for a movie called Salt. The movie that would finally make her the star she always deserved to be. Thankfully, my driver, who's actually quite famous himself now, though I hate to name drop, so I'll just call him Timothy C, kept his eyes on the road, or I would not be talking to you here today. All the stars must have aligned for me the day your old man took that train down. You got the type, not quite there, but those dark eyes, just a flash of Angie. We'd work well together, you and me. We're lit from the same vibe. I've got this little dress, like the one she's wearing tonight. Those gold kittens will fit just right. There's no time to waste, so let's make this easy. Why don't we get snatched and go for a sleigh in my whip? We'll take the Tumbler, the Model 3. By night, roll her down the boulevard between parked cars. She'll be gone in a flash. When it's all over, we'll flex for a few tests at the studio and make something beautiful of us, my leading lady. Or would that infringe on her intellectual property? We could bring round our mate for the ride. Who is willing to negotiate terms?
There is no rhythm, no breath, without form moments stretch and compress. Thoughts are fragments, embers fading into recess. The only thing that exists is the boves, just above the quiet. I let myself fall below. Moments later, I am sitting in a corner booth, boxed in by 3 men in black suits. An old woman dressed in gray holds my hands across the trays on the table. She tells me that from now on, whenever I see the emblem in neon lights, it is my beacon. As my guardian angel, she protects me. The toll of a bell reminds me that everything seen and heard is washed clean. The woman unwraps the crunch-up supreme. I take a bite from her hands. And then
The clock strikes 12. Here's looking at you, kid. Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. I know Kung Fu. They say music is the food of love. Eat your slop, hog. I'll be mother tonight, thank you. Oh, behave. shaken, not stirred. If you love your job so much, why don't I marry it? If you're reading this letter, you're already dead, and I'm going to kill you. He's right behind me, isn't he? I guess we have a hangover. Again. Too many cooks, my dear. And not enough salt. Auf Wiedersehen, darling. May I never see your wretched face again. Know what I mean, Vern? I'll just take a skim through this little black book of yours. I'm sure you won't mind. For my part, I will wear my red velvet suit with French trimming. I will put on my gold-flowered cloak and my diamond stomacher, which is far from being the most ordinary one in the world. At last the happy day came. They went to court, and she followed them with her eyes as long as she could. You wish that you could go to the ball. Is it not so?
Be but a good girl, and I will contrive that you shall go. Pairs of hands, after hands, covered in red latex gloves, move toward the incision. The sound of metal and smell of burning oxidation fills the mouth as they reach into the cavity. They part the black cloak that hangs around. I watch from the corner as they remove full pieces of rib cage. The circled men take my heart in their hands and place it upon the column next to where I lie, between wax candles engraved with symbols I cannot recognize. A rustling starts in my chest. They reach in and remove a small black mouse. They place it beside my still beating heart and vocal cords as I watch, unable to speak or move as it begins to.
As Zara races to the bridge, she sees Tiger, 1 foot up on the railing. She calls his name, but he can't hear her over the traffic honking and the torrent of rain. She screams and wails, banging on the doors of the cars as she races toward him, begging the drivers to honk or rev or do anything to grab his attention before it's too late. He stands tall now, the toes of both feet flirting with the air on the other side of the barrier. He takes a deep breath. courage. She reaches him and grabs his ankle. With a gymnastic grace, he maintains his balance and pivots on the metal to face her. From the front pocket of her dungarees, she pulls out a crushed ice cream bar. You once told me you would do anything for one of these, she says. How about living? You've never heard of it? Huh. Well, it's sort of like the picture Salt. Stevie and I were quite the pair back then. I'm sure she helped you understand the assignment. She's a very busy lady. I know you've seen that. Did she take you to see the ship? I've wanted to meet those androids since I wore them on pyjamas. I'm not always working that day gig, you know. I haven't got anything on the screen in a while. But that's because I've been occupied with the lit arts. The publisher has been very interested. See, I've been writing about the idea that the visual image exists to remove the people's imagination. It hits different now. Everyone gets their world from a blank box. Cinema is dead. Look at all the static out there in the theatres, on the computer, the television. You know, I keep thinking, maybe this is it. But when I saw you sitting there next to her at the table as I took your plate, I thought to myself, why do I feel like I'm in motion again? My muse, little Ma Mère, has gone to bed. We can capture this moment forever. She tells me you're no talk and all action. It only takes one shot to make stars of us. What can I do to turn on the bright lights? Have you heard our plan?
I am sleeping in a space.
We can get up and go anywhere you want after.
A wooden table in ornate dress.
There's no need to put yourself down. You'll look wonderful in that drip.
Cloaks as a mass of moving bodies. The center one gilded holds a staff in his hands.
I haven't hired any crew for the set. It'll be you and me. having a ball.
The man points upwards and my eyes rise above my body to the top. He motions a small circle and I begin to spin. Faster and faster, speeding up into the blur, headed towards something that I can't see now. But I knew.
You've already got the poses down.
Black string appears, wrapped around fingers. They extend and lower through the ground, tying to the core of the earth, pulling me down where I stay.
Well, that's just show business.
We're the only tenderness he's ever known. Poor